I remember the sound first. Not pain, not fear. Just voices. Distant, cold. Leave him, he's already dead. Funny thing is, I heard that. I was lying on the road, unable to move, unable to open my eyes, but I could hear everything. Cars passing. Footsteps. People deciding my life wasn't worth stopping for. I tried to move. Nothing. My body didn't belong to me anymore. My chest felt heavy, like something was crushing me from the inside. I wanted to scream. I'm here, I'm still alive. But my mouth wouldn't open. That's when I understood something terrifying. You can be alive and still be treated like you're already gone. Time became strange. Seconds stretched. Voices faded in and out. Some curious. Some annoyed. Some indifferent. No one touched me. No one checked. I wasn't a man anymore. I was a problem on the road. And problems are easier to ignore. Then, everything went quiet. Not outside. Inside me. My heartbeat slowed. Each breath felt like the last. And for a moment, I accepted it. This is how it ends. Not in my office. Not surrounded by people who called me important. But alone. On the ground. Forgotten. And then, something changed. A presence. Close. Small. Different. Not afraid. I felt it before I heard it. A shift in the air. A hesitation. Then a touch. Light. Careful. Real. Someone knelt beside me. I could feel it. And then something I will never forget. A small weight against my chest. An ear. Listening. Waiting. And then, a voice. Soft but certain. He's alive. Alive. That word cut through everything. For the first time, someone saw me. Not as a body. Not as a problem. But as a life. I didn't know who it was. I didn't know why. But in that moment, when the whole world walked away, someone stayed. And that is why I'm still here. I couldn't see him. Not yet. But I could feel what he was doing. Struggling. Breathing hard. Dragging me. Every movement was clumsy, desperate. My body hit the ground again and again. And each time I thought, this is too much for him, he'll stop. Anyone else would have. But he didn't. I heard people around us. Leave him, boy. You'll get in trouble. Not your problem. Those words. I've said them before. In different ways. In different rooms. About different people. Not my problem. Strange how life brings your words back to you. But he ignored them. All of them. He kept going. I felt the shift when he got me off the road. Then silence again. Then his voice. Closer now. Don't stop, please don't stop. He was talking to me. Like I could hear him. Like I mattered. No one had spoken to me like that in years. Not really. Then came the hardest part. Lifting me. I could feel his body shaking. His strength wasn't enough. But his will was. Again and again he tried. Until finally, I was moved. Placed onto something. Wood. Rough. Unstable. A cart. And then motion. Slow at first. Then faster. The world shifted around me. Noise. Voices. Horns. People. But none of it mattered. Because one boy. was fighting harder for my life than anyone ever had. I wanted to ask him, why? Why risk everything for a stranger? Why care when no one else did? But I couldn't speak. I could only feel. And what I felt was something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. By the time we reached the clinic, my body was barely holding on. But he didn't stop. He shouted. He begged. He offered everything he had. Everything. Coins. Small. Insignificant. But to him, it was everything. And he gave it without hesitation. For me, a man he didn't know, I heard the hesitation in the room, the doubt, the cost, and then a decision. Get the stretcher. Those words saved my life. But not because of the doctor. Because of him. Because he stayed. Because he refused to let me disappear. That night, I hovered between life and death. But every time I slipped too far, something pulled me back. Not machines. Not medicine. Him. Still there. Still waiting. Still believing. And I started to fight. Not for my business. Not for my name. Not for my power. But for the first person who saw me as human. When I had nothing left. When I finally opened my eyes. The world was different. Not because it changed. Because I did. The first thing I saw was him. Small. Quiet. Watching me like I might disappear again. You're awake, he said. Not excited. Not loud. Just relieved. Like he had been holding that moment for a long time. I tried to speak. My voice barely worked. Why, I asked. That was the only question that mattered. Why me? Why stay? Why care? He looked at me. Like the answer was simple. Because you were alive. That was it. No speech. No reason. No benefit. Just that. And in that moment, everything I had built in my life felt small. I had power, money, influence, people who listened when I spoke. But when I was dying, none of it mattered. None of them were there. Only him. A boy. With nothing. And yet, he gave more than anyone ever had. Days later, I learned the truth. What happened to me? Who tried to take everything. But strangely, that wasn't what stayed with me. What stayed with me was a boy dragging my body through the street, refusing to let me die. So I made a decision. Not as a businessman, not as a man of power, as a man who had already died once. I found him. He tried to say it was nothing, that he just didn't leave. But that's everything. Most people leave. He didn't. So I asked him something. Do you want to keep surviving? Or do you want to start living? He didn't answer right away, because no one had ever asked him that before. But I already knew. He chose life. The moment he chose me. Now he has a home, a future, a name people will remember. But not because of me, because of who he already was. And me. I got something far more valuable than everything I almost lost. Perspective. Because the day I almost died was the day I finally understood what it means to live. So let me ask you, if you saw me on that road, would you stop? Or would you walk away? Like everyone else? Because sometimes, the smallest decision becomes the reason someone survives. I know, because I was that man.